Hello, hello, hello. Okay, y'all. Y'all still with me? We got a couple more sessions left. Are y'all still with me? Are y'all here? Liberty's here. Thank you, Liberty. Come on now. Who that scared the I'm sorry, Sammy. I don't have to tell you. Matt is still here. Come on now. Kaz. One of my good friends is in Cambria, lives in Cambria. I think that's it. Cambria. Okay, Sal, that's what I'm talking about. Sal, you come on now.
Y'all, we just lost Floyd, but he's going to come back. He's still with us. Send all the good vibes to Floyd. He's going to come back. But hey, y'all, I'm Rhea. I'm here to talk to you about human-centered AI. Now, I know y'all have been in sessions all day. You've been hearing a lot of theory about why AI is important, blah, 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 all important stuff. But I'm going to get into like the tactical, let's get our hands dirty with some custom GPTs. So does that work? Oh, you're back. All right, let me pause.
It's okay. I'm so sorry. So I got kicked out somehow, some way, but you already got the party started. I mean, y'all, no further ado. The most important person, someone who I adore, who I think is so incredible, is going to teach you all the good stuff about AI, how to human first fundraising with custom GPTs, agentic workflows. Just say no more. Take it away, my good sis.
All right, thank you, God, with an intro like that. What can I even say? All right, let's get into it. I am Rhea Wong. I have, like you, spent many, many years in the nonprofit, in I wouldn't say the industrial complex, in the trenches with all y'all. And I think AI is the most exciting opportunity since the internet. So I'm just going to go quickly and then I'm just going to do a bunch of demos because I think that you guys want to know how to get this stuff done. Am I right? Here in the chat, put in one question that you have about AI because I want to make sure that we get to as many questions as we can. So let me just go through this quickly because I think it's important stuff to know. You've heard it all day, every day. It's augmentation, not replacement. So I like to reference Jensen Wong, who says AI is not coming to take your job. Someone who knows how to use AI is coming to take your job. Remember, we cannot fully delegate to AI, right? We always need a human in the loop. And so how I want you all to be thinking about AI is like a co-pilot, like a really, really smart intern who can do stuff but still needs a fair amount of direction because the intern isn't quite good enough to run independently. Want to get into a couple of definitions here. You've heard it all day, so I'm not going to get too into it. But what is a large language model? LLM. We hear it all the time. Essentially, what this is a brain. I've heard it referred to as a brain, but essentially, if you use ChatGPT or Claude, or I'm going to showcase something called Manus, these are what we call large language models. Essentially, it's the brain powering the AI. Now, I want to talk about two things that I don't know were covered quite in the other sessions you've been in. Custom GPTs. So I want to say a couple months ago, ChatGPT released the ability to do custom GPTs. And what custom GPTs are, I assume a lot of you use ChatGPT, yeah? Just put in the chat. Are shifting from ChatGPT to Microsoft Copilot. So Brianna, I'm going to get to this. That's more of a technical product question, but Microsoft Copilot, I think, only works within the Microsoft system. So that would be one difference. Okay, so is anyone using custom GPTs? Okay, cool. So some of you are using custom GPTs. No, yes, all the time. Okay. All right. So I'm going to show you a couple of custom GPTs that I put together, which could be fun for you. Also, if you're not into it, that is fine as well. And then there's a thing called AI agent. So this is the next stage, I think, of our AI journey. And essentially what a custom AI agent is a similar to a GPT. it does stuff, right? You prompt it. The difference is that it can create and engage workflows independent of you. And so what that means is if you think about GPT as like a co-pilot, an AI agent would be an autopilot. So I'll give you a couple of use cases that I think could be interesting for your AI agent. Now, you all have heard this before. I'm not going to belabor the point, but why now is important. We are at the very beginning stages of AI adoption in nonprofits. And I think, especially because so many of us in the field don't have enough resources, don't have enough staff members, feel like there's more work to do than we can possibly do. This is the opportunity for leverage. This is the opportunity for us to leverage AI to increase the amount of work that we can do, increase our impact. And then I think one of the things I've heard too, and actually I did a podcast episode about this that just released today with Brooke Ritchie Babbage. So if you haven't checked it out, it's called Nonprofit Lowdown. It's today's episode. It's very timely. But I think, and I assume I'm already preaching to the converted here, but there uh, have been, I've heard some folks who have been reluctant to enter into or experiment with AI because of concerns about privacy, ethics, who's designing the AI, concerns about the environmental impact. I hear you. These are all very, very legitimate concerns. The one thing that I would say for me that stands out above all others as to why AI makes sense for us to use is that the world needs us as folks in the nonprofit field, folks who are thinking about the ethics and the equity of using the technology to actually be engaged in the conversation. And so, in a world where the conversation and the design and the use of AI is dominated by folks who are not particularly concerned about these sorts of questions, it just pushes it further away from people like us who really are thinking about the ethics of it. So, if there are any folks on your team who are AI um, resistant, I mean, that would be a good reason to maybe frame for them why why even the use of AI is an act of resistance. Okay, so let me get into it because I really think this is interesting. So there are four case studies or four use cases that I put together as to how we might be able to use custom GPTs. So I'm actually going to talk a little bit about custom GPTs because I know there's some folks on this call who are not currently using custom GPTs. So I want to make sure that we are on the same page. So I'm going to share my screen for a second. Oh, let me stop presenting. Okay. So again, this is going to be a very ChatGPT centric conversation. I know some folks are out here using other, Microsoft Copilot, Claude, etc. I'm not going to be touching on those LLMs, but I'm sure you have a lot of folks who can show you really great things. But let me talk about custom GPTs for a second. So essentially, this is we have our general chats like our, are you all seeing my screen, by the way? I just want to make sure. Yes. Okay, cool. Um, so we can also create custom GPT. So there's a thing, and by the way, this is only the paid version of Chat GPT, so the $20 a month version. There is a hold on, where am I? Okay. So if you go to the left-hand side screen, wait, where did my GPT? All right, sorry, hold on. I have to figure out where my screen actually went. Okay, let me do this. Okay, so when you see on the side here, I'm going to download this. There's a thing called GPTs. Essentially, it is a marketplace of GPTs that people have designed. What is a custom GPT? A custom GPT is a GPT that I've trained on some, let's say I have my own methodology, or there is a certain knowledge base that I wanted to have. I could create and design my own custom GPT, and it will pull from that data. What I think is also important to know too is when you have custom GPTs, you're really training it on a specific type of data, a specific methodology, a specific data set. So, for example, in my work, because I teach people about major gift fundraising, I have trained GPTs in order to reflect my philosophy, my framework, my body of work. So, what you can do is, and everyone here can train your own custom GPT if you have, of course, the paid version. But you go here, you can create your own custom GPT. You can access the marketplace. Lots of people have created lots of different GPTs. You can search GPTs. Like, for example, I have a GPT here that is, what is it? I have one that is a prompt engineer, right? So there are a bunch of things I don't know about. I can find a custom GPT for that. But let's talk about a couple of custom GPTs that I trained that I think might be interesting to you all. So I have one called the Fundraising Data Analyst. And so essentially what that is, and you can see all of the data here, is it prompts you for a question. It says, let's dig in. It asks you to upload a donor data file. So again, we de-identify, we don't ever upload personal information into the system. It asks for the donor ID, the gift amount, and the gift date in this format. Again, if you need this downloaded as a CSV table, it can spin that up for you. But based on that, what you can do is look at and analyze your data, because I often find it quite difficult. Like I was sitting in on another presentation. We have a lot of data. We don't necessarily know what the data is telling us. And so I've trained this GPT to give an executive report. It will look at year over year results, key callouts, your retention numbers, your donor first time donor acquisition numbers, your segmentation within each fiscal year. It will also segment it based on fiscal year between small, medium, and major donor. It will also decide on what those tiers are. So there's no set tier. It'll look at the data set to determine what the tier is, and then it will identify by donor ID some of the donors that you might be interested in engaging. It will look at Libunts, gave last year but not this year. It'll look at Cybunts, gave some year but not this year. Unfortunately, not this year. And it will surface opportunities. For example, who in your major donor base has not yet given? Who can you convert? Is there a path for mid-level upgrades? And it will plan your 5 strategic moves in the next 30, 60, 90 days. So again, this is a GPT that I've created and can give you access to. The other thing is it will also create charts that you can then share with your board, because we all know that we're scrambling to put those board books together, right? So we can download a one pager with graphics and with PDFs. So let me pause there. I think I just ran through a lot. Yes, Brianna, I can definitely share my fundraising data analyst. Any questions so far? Okay. All right. Let's talk about another use case, which is pretty fun. Let me see. Oh, hey, Miranda. Good to see you. Okay. Okay. This is another custom GPT I created that I call the ideal donor avatar. Now, why we need an ideal donor avatar is a lot of us are out here fundraising and we don't necessarily have a clear idea of who we're speaking to. And I have my opinion is always, if we're speaking to everybody, then we're speaking to nobody. So I'm just going to do a live demo, and I'm hoping the technology works here. If it doesn't, this will be somewhat embarrassing, and I will have to unshare my screen. But I wanted to see in real time how I've designed this GPT with the explicit goal of developing a clear idea of who you're speaking to, and therefore tailoring marketing messages to. So let me do this in real time. My ideal donor is a retired former investment banker. She lives on the Upper West Side, has 2 children, 3 grandchildren, and went to an Ivy League and is very involved in her educational causes and in her family's synagogue. By the way, this is an actual donor of mine. Not putting in personal data, but the ideal donor avatar should absolutely be correlated with real data. So I would highly, highly recommend that you all do a couple of donor interviews with the people that you would consider to be your ideal donor. Okay, so let's see what it came back with. So this is the donor profile. Okay, this is actually very accurate. All right, key motivations are she has a very strong family legacy of giving and really believes in investing in the next generation. Okay, let's see. So again, what you can see here is I informed the GPT of the 7 phases of philanthropy. So they're like very specific uh, data points that I'm pulling to develop this donor avatar. She's most specifically interested in educational causes and um, religious causes affiliated with her synagogue. So she's a dynast investor hybrid. She spends a lot of her time reading the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, and listening to NPR. Just in case you're wondering, this is actually a real person. Okay. She's challenged with knowing whether or not her investments make a real difference. She's very focused on impact and numbers and wants to know that she is giving smartly. You all still with me? I hope this isn't boring you to tears. Oops. Let me see. What happened to. Did I just lose my thing? Oh no. I think I just lost it. Floyd, what happened to it? Did it go away? Oh no. I think I lost my. All right. No, here it is. I'm sorry. Her core goal is that she hopes to educate her children and grandchildren about the importance of philanthropy and generosity, and that she really wants to do the most good for the most number of people. Okay. Ba, 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 ba. She is very aware of our work. She is a friend of a board member's. She wants to support our specific mission because she is a native New Yorker and she wants to support the kids of New York and is interested in the future of New York City. Okay, so again, here I just want to underscore a couple things, which is I actually do know this person. It's not based on like assumptions I'm making. So this is someone I know very well, and it's somebody who I, uh, with the right kind of message, would hope to attract more of her. Great. So now that I have a clear sense of who she is, then it's creating messaging angles, email hooks, suggested engagement, and legacy messages. Now, again, you'll have to use your judgment and discernment to determine whether this makes sense for this particular donor, but this is a very good start. Now I understand really what is making her tick and how I can test out messages that would possibly really resonate with her. It will also ask me things like, do you want an email drip campaign, one pager, LinkedIn message, etc. So this is a one-stop shopping thing. But again, and I cannot underscore this enough, the human needs to be in this, right? So it has to be based on your human sense of this person. Would this really resonate? But again, this helps you to create messages at scale that so you can test a lot of different things. So let me pause there for a second. Any questions, comments, concerns? Okay. So Daphne's question is, where do we start when you create a custom GPT? So typically, when you're creating a custom GPT, you're trying to solve a problem, right? You're trying to create something like, let's say, I'm always thinking about how do I create messages for my ideal donor. If that's something that I do again and again and again, that might be something that I want a custom GPT to do. One thing that I might suggest that you do, and I'm not going to walk through the whole creating a custom GPT. There are lots of YouTube videos that will help you do this. But one thing that I could suggest that you do is start with a prompt generator. So if you are able to get the prompt, because I think a lot of us think that we're good at prompts, or maybe we don't think that we're good at prompts, but the AI is probably better at prompts. So if you go into the prompt generator and say, like, here's the thing I'm trying to do. I'm trying to create a GPT that blah, 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 blah. You may have to go back and forth a couple of times to refine it, but that's usually a pretty good start. The other thing I would say when you are creating a custom GPT is think about what information you want to train it on. So, for example, for this custom GPT, I trained it on a couple of different things. I trained it on my own framework and fundraising philosophy. I trained it on a white paper called The Seven Faces of Philanthropy because I wanted it to know that information. I may have also trained it on some marketing materials. I can't remember exactly, but the idea is like you have to make a decision about what body of information you want to pull from. And then there's some tweaking involved. So, like the first time you create a custom GPT, it may not do exactly what you wanted to do. And so you can talk to it and say, "Mm, this is not exactly what I want. How can I tweak this or tweak the instructions to output what I really wanted to output?" So, um, there are a million ways that you can do this. There are lots of YouTube videos you can watch, but I think the idea here is like you as the human have to decide what is it that you're trying to do and then what information do you think is necessary for to accomplish the task and what output do you want. So in this example, I was very clear about like I want the output of like um, a dossier, if you will. And I also want you to be clear about what the next steps are. Does that make sense? Okay. Um, so I'm going to talk about Manus for a second, which is a little bit of a different thing. So we've talked about chat GPTs. I've been experimenting with Manus, which I've been very, very impressed by. So let's walk into Manus. Caveat with Manus, and I think someone here is familiar with Manus, but so Manus is a fairly new kid on the block. It's what we call agentic AI, which is to say that it pulls information independently of my telling it to pull it. So it will go on the internet, it'll scour data, it'll pull from different websites. That's what we call agentic AI. It acts independently. It's on autopilot. It is a Chinese-based company, and so there possibly are privacy concerns with using a Chinese-based company. So again, I would be very, very careful about the kinds of information that you are uploading. However, I've been very impressed with the output. So I'm just going to walk through a little bit a use case with Manus, which could be interesting to you. I will also share the Manus. There's an invite code. You get, I think, free up to 500 credits. And then after that, you have to pay for credits. But I think with 500 credits, you can certainly play around with some things. So let me just show Manus for a second. Okay. Y'all, we live in a crazy world. Okay, so this is my sample. I asked ChatGPT, or sorry, I asked Manus to put together a campaign for Save the Lhasa Apsos. My beloved dog Stella is a Lhasa Apso. So I wanted to create a campaign for that. So this was my prompt. It's very simple. It's a basic prompt. I will actually I spoke to it. I said, I want to create a fun end of year fundraising campaign for Save the Lost of Opsos. I want an email and social media strategy and a comprehensive fundraising campaign with a detailed calendar. So I think that's the input I gave it. Manus then came back and said, the old creators, they pulled all of this data. I didn't give it any of this. And then it created a comprehensive package. So it created the executive summary, the research and foundations, the themes and messages, the campaign content, the social media campaign strategy, the calendar and schedule, and the supporting assets. I can go over here and look at all files in, it's wild, y'all. I can download all of these documents, the effective fundraising strategy, campaign themes, messaging strategy. So we can look at it here. It gave me email content. It gave me a calendar. So it gave me specifically weeks 15 to 21. It gave me, where is the social media campaign strategy, along with the posts and the hashtags and which platforms I should post it on. And it gave me a to-do list. And this was a very, very basic prompt. So I mean, you can imagine the power of this. It's pretty wild. Now, again, I'm going to review all of this and to make sure this makes sense. I'm going to review all of it so to make sure that it's not hallucinating things or saying things that are not appropriate for my organization. But oh my gosh, did that not just save me hours of time? So I'm going to put in the chat if you want to play with Manus, which I definitely recommend that you do. And this will give you, I believe, 500 credits for free. So I'm putting this in the chat right now. Okay. Yeah, right. That's about my getting the referrals, folks. Okay. Last bit of this, I want to talk about AI agents. Now, I have not designed any AI agents in advance of this because the AI agents that you would potentially put together are um, very customized to your particular nonprofit. So it didn't really make a lot of sense for me to have. So, Mike, that's agentic AI because it independently did all of the research and pulled together all of the documentation without my prompting. So, in the world of um, uh, like custom GPTs, for example, like I have to specifically say, like, okay, now I want this in a strategy document. Now I want a calendar. Now I want da da da. Like I have to treat it like a smart intern. What Manus did is it independently pulled all of the different assets together without my prompting. Okay, so let's talk about AI agents. Um, a couple of things here. Let me pull. Okay. So those are the capacity builders. So we talked about the donor avatar. We didn't go through my Ask Assist, but I have an Ask Assist in GPT. We looked at data analysis and we looked at campaign strategy via Manus. Now, if you are in deep and you want to design your own AI agents, which is I think kind of the next level. Here are a couple of tools that you can use. You can use Zapier for those of you who might be using Zapier for automations. You can use Make. You can use N8N, and you can use Relay. So I'm going to actually look at Relay as an example here, and I have no connection to these companies whatsoever. But Relay, I like because it doesn't require coding, and for those of us who are not coders, it's just a lot more accessible. So, what are a couple of agents that we might consider developing? One, I like to think about the prospecting scout. So, when we have an AI agent, it will independently on autopilot trigger a workflow. So, one workflow that you might consider doing is, for example, if you have data from your CRM system and you connect it to another data source, say LinkedIn, you can design an AI agent who will run an analysis maybe every day, scraping your CRM data and publicly available data and deliver to you, let's say every morning. And I had this with another workflow I did every morning, 20 names of folks that I should perhaps consider for my major gift campaign. I might be looking at data such as historical giving information, any information such as are they clicking on emails that I'm sending? Are they visiting our website? Have they experienced anything in a professional way? For example, like maybe they got promoted, maybe they moved companies, maybe they sold a company. Like these would be relevant data points that I would look for as someone who had significant capacity. Another perspective AI agent that you might be able to develop is your donor lifetime value agent. So it could get connected to your CRM. You could also input other data such as engagement data. Are they responding to, I don't know, your LinkedIn messages? Are they looking at your emails, etc.? Can we then use this agent to suggest an upgrade into a bigger gift for folks who have demonstrated that they both have the capacity, interest, and engagement to get upgraded? Finally, retention. So I will die on this hill. Retention is absolutely what everybody should be thinking about. So could you develop an AI agent that monitors donor behavior? So, for example, let's look at the same data set. Maybe there's someone who has been giving over the last couple of years, but all of a sudden they've stopped opening your emails, or they've stopped clicking through, or they've stopped attending events, or they've stopped responding to phone messages. Could that person possibly be at risk of leaving, or could there be attrition? So let me focus on Relay for a second as to how you could design, if you were so inclined to design an AI agent. Hold on. And I'm going to make sure that we also leave a lot of time for questions because I'm sure there are lots of questions. Okay. So this is Relay. Again, I have no financial connection to these companies at all, although I wish I did. So essentially, Relay is where you can create agentic workflows. So what you can do is start a new workflow here, and you have this handy agent here. So I say something like, I want to create an agent to help me determine possible major gift donors in my CRM, and I want to connect it to LinkedIn and um, my email platform for engagement data. So what Relay will ask you to do, and this is just like in real English, like not coder speak, for those of us who are not techie like that. It will ask you things like, which CRM do you use? What email platforms do you use? And it will give you a step by step as to how to connect these things within your workflow. So let me give you an example of what a workflow could look like. I have some outdated workflows here. So what this looks like is I've created an AI agent to manage my email inbox because I'm sure, like you, I get a lot of emails. So I designed this to say email received. Then, once the email is received, I classify it with AI. You give it a role. You are an email classification assistant. I give it clear directions about here are the ways in which I want them categorized, et cetera, et cetera. Then once it runs to the AI agent, it will then, within my inbox, categorize alerts and notifications, financial management, and so forth, and organize my inbox for me. Now, I've turned it off because it actually uses a lot of tokens to run this particular agent. But the idea behind it, when you're creating AI agents, is that you have something in the background that's constantly working, that does not necessarily depend on you to create the prompt. The prompt can be a trigger of something else. Maybe you receive an email, or maybe a donor sends a gift, or maybe I don't know, the donor, there's some kind of alert on LinkedIn. So again, this is a way that we can build a system so that we're not, as a human being, the chokehold or the roadblock in the system. And again, I have not created these AI agents for you, but using Relight, it's quite easy to do with the assistant. So I'm going to pause here. And what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to give you all a QR code so that you can download my custom GPT. Okay, I feel like I need to say this. Rules of the road, always human in the loop. Do not feed private information into public GPTs. Your CRM should stay the source of your truth. Always test for bias and hallucinations. And if you don't have an AI policy in your organization, you should certainly create one. I'm sure you have got lots of information, but one that you can use is put Fast Forward has an free AI policy maker. I can put in the chat if you're interested. And within your organization, having clear lines of delineation about who approves what. Okay. So, with all those caveats, here is a QR code that you can use to download my custom GPT. Now, if you are interested in also getting my donor financial advisor, what you can do is here, send me an email. Now, in the subject line, please put analyst, so you don't get analyst. And send me an email at Rhea@rheawong.com, and I'd be happy to send you my financial fundraising advisor, the data analyst. Okay. Floyd, how much time do I have here? I think I'm on until, I have 7 minutes. Great. So let's take as many questions as we can in 7 minutes. All right, where are my questions here? Okay. Upvote if you love Lloyd. Cool. Yes. What's the biggest thing you see people getting wrong despite the best of intentions? Huh. Okay. I mean, like in life, Cass? I that's a very big question. What's the biggest thing you see people getting wrong despite the best of intentions? Cass, I would say that I think our sector tends to be quite cautious when it comes to tech innovations. And so I don't know that I would say that I think people get it wrong, but I think that we can over index on being cautious. And as a result, I think we lose speed. And so I think the biggest mistake that we can make is not leaning into new technologies and really experimenting with the ways that they can help us. Because look, you could ignore the internet too, but it just means that you're maybe not going to be as efficient as you could be or as effective as you could be. So, Kaz, I guess it's it depends question, but I would definitely say really stepping in and empowering your team to get innovative and experimental about AI with guardrails. Okay.
My friend, I was
Yes.
gonna go ahead and let me facilitate some of these questions so you can
Yes,
just go and
please.
be great.
Oh my gosh, we have so many questions. Oh yes, please.
So I love this question from Brianna that says, I love this idea for an agent, but are you concerned about confidentiality of donor information? And the reason why I like this question is not just because we're not going to put, the donor information in there, but I think that this idea of a code of ethics for your organization is still kind of murky water, right? Like it's still kind of, we're figuring it out, like what is too much, what's not too much, all that different stuff. So talk to me around, yes, confidentiality for donor information, but also how are we framing this idea of a code of ethics or confidentiality at large when it comes to training our AI agents?
Yeah, so it's a good question. So again, I would refer to the fast forward AI policy. I think different organizations will have different appetites for risk. Um, when and then there are a couple of things that you can also do. So again, you're not feeding in private information into the LLM ever. You will also turn off anything in the LLM that keeps your data from entering the data lake. So for
Mhm.
example, like you say like you don't save chats because when you save chats, it then enters into like the great data lake and it's trained like the big LLM is trained on your data. So there are little things that you can do like that to keep your data safe. But think the biggest thing by and large is like just like you need to be aware of phishing on your email. Like you just don't put personal information into the LLMs. And I would
That's
say
so
like
good. All
yeah.
the little questions when they're talking about, do you want these cookies and brownies and
Yeah,
milkshakes?
no,
Deny,
no, I don't want any of that.
deny, none of
No.
it. Child. Although I am a little guilty, I'm not gonna lie. They probably got a couple things on me, but we're gonna pray about
I
that.
mean, at
Okay,
this point.
so
Okay.
talk to me, Brianna. Oh, this is another one from Brianna. Come on, Brianna. Okay, well, Brianna, I'm not sure if you answer this live, but she's talking about shifting from ChatGPT Pro to Microsoft Copilot. But the
Mm,
other thing that I saw with this question, because she said, are there any differences we should be aware of? But the other thing that I was thinking about is, how do you know what is for what? Because I have both ChatGPT, but I love Claude when it comes to my copywriting. I'm like, Claude gets me. Me and Claude, we like this when it comes to
yeah.
copywriting, right? ChatGPT don't get it like that. They don't, it's still
Well,
giving me
I would say
robot.
with this new ChatGPT 5, you might try to
I
get it.
have the
Like
paid version. So you know what? Make me hit. This is for me too. Actually, I'm really asking for myself. Sorry,
yeah,
Brianna.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let us
Look, I
know.
mean, look, there's no right answer, right?
Right,
It's
right, right.
it's like what you want to do. I've heard that Claude is actually better for like copywriting, but I will say that I do think that the latest Chat GPT has become much better at writing.
Mm,
It's an arms race. Like these are all getting better all of the time. I would say, and again, I don't know enough to like give you clear like technical details about like how Copilot is different than ChatGPT, which is different than Claude, other than like they may be trained on different things. I know Claude Anthropic has a set of policies that make it a bit safer than ChatGPT. I think ChatGPT
mm,
is kind of like out there like sucking all the data. Um, this is a great question for ChatGPT. One,
mm.
two. I think choose one. Just like I don't think you can go wrong. And so the only thing I will say with Microsoft Copilot is it is specific to the Microsoft ecosystem. So if you have folks who are like on Google or Google Docs, like I don't know that you can use Copilot. However, we use all like if you use Google, like you're using Gemini, right? So you may not even be aware of some of the tools that you're
Mm.
using and some of the LLMs that you're using. So it's an unsatisfying answer other than like I'm not enough of a tech nerd to answer that question in great detail, but I don't really think that there's so much of a huge difference between all of the different LLMs that it's going to make that much of a difference.
And honestly, please, this is the thing that I have learned about AI, but also about life. The worst action is no action, I would say. Like, if you're
Yep.
just like, I don't know who to choose, just choose somebody,
Just choose
somewhere,
one.
do
Yep.
something. I
That's right.
literally, I mean, oh, this is completely unrelated, but we're like moving things like our Ross and stuff like that. And I'm like, at the end of the day, it's like they're all giving you something similar. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I was talking to our financial advisor. He's like, just pick, like, so you can keep going. I was like, okay, you're right. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
it's like, just pick and allow yourself to go deep. And guess what? If you make a mistake or you find that you don't like it, you can choose. You can
Yes.
switch. You know what I'm
Yes, you
saying? The
can
world is
change.
not
Absolutely.
okay.
This is not set in stone forever and ever. I
Exactly.
think we're
So
out of time,
I
Flat.
guess so, but my I
Oh,
think this would be a good one to end on. There's this one more. This is for an organization that's brand new, just
okay.
getting started, right? And they're like, "Oh my God, where do we even go? Can you say GPT? Help me!" Like, say you're a brand new organization, you don't have a big donor base and you're trying to figure out a whole donor profile, what can you do to utilize AI to kind of help you build some of those things? Like not just build your database, but build ideal donor profiles that you can start going after. Do you have any ideas or thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's such a good question. If I were starting from scratch, the first thing I would do is think, okay, one, do I have any donors at all? Even if it's like board members, right? Like somebody at some point must have donated money to you. You can think about basing your donor avatar on that person. Then here's another interesting thing you could do with GPT. You could ask them this question like, okay, if I am starting from scratch and here's a general idea of my profile, where do these people hang out? Are they on LinkedIn? Are they on Facebook? Are they even on social media? Are they on
Mm,
YouTube? Then help me create a content calendar that will help me get in front of these people with the kinds of messages that they might respond to. So you can use ChatGPT at the top of your funnel as well if you have like if you're starting from ground zero.
I love that. I love that. So pretty much get into one of these GPTs and get started. Okay. Can y'all
Get
hear
started.
the one and only Rhea Wong? Thank you so much,
Thank
friend.
you, friend. I think
Love you.
I have like
I
a I
hope
think I
for
have
you.
a lounge situation. So if you have more questions, like come hit me up on the lounge.
Exactly. It's going down in the lounge. Okay. Thank you, friend. All right, y'all. Can you believe we're almost at the last session of the day? Like I'm feeling some type of way, okay? Because that was so good, right? Like, wasn't that amazing? Well, if it was as amazing as you thought it was, as I'm saying it is, because we were getting into all the details too. It was download this, train this. I didn't even know you knew how to do that, and I got all the GPTs. Okay, y'all. Well, let us know your feedback. Okay, you know what the deal is. That button on your screen or scan the QR code. You know how it goes, but let us know all of your feedback. Okay. And in case you were wondering, the answer is say it with me now. Yes, you will be getting all of the recordings. Okay. As a Fundraising AI Summit attendee, you're getting exclusive access to all 63 session recordings. Okay. That means you don't have to worry about missing a session. Or if you want to rewatch the sessions and you want to hear more of me, you want to wake up in the morning, Floyd GPT, we've been talking about. Okay. All you got to do is log on in. Okay. Log into your Android credentials and watch the replays immediately after the event ends and check back on the Fundraising AI Summit in about 4 weeks for full access. Okay. Also, I always told you, you're not going to just get Amplify Impact. You're not going to just get Amplify Stage, but we also giving you the Amplify Kit. Okay, everything's going to be amplified this year, one way or the other. We're going to pull you up. Period. Okay. This kit is packed with thousands of dollars in exclusive savings templates, free resources, and so much more, all generously provided by our speakers and sponsors. Think of it as your go-to toolkit to help you turn what you learned here into action. Okay? You're gonna get the Amplify Kit, the CTA. We just dropped that. Thank you to all of our amazing sponsors. Thank you. Listen, sponsors, we couldn't do this without you. Okay. What's that song from? I think it's Leanne Rhymes. Where would I be without you? I want to know. See, y'all, don't get me started. Everything can be a song, okay? I got a jukebox in my spirit. Come on, somebody. Well, thank you to our sponsors because I don't know where we would be without you. I didn't want to think about it, okay? Because of your support, the learning experience here is completely free, okay? Did y'all go to that sponsor booth like I was telling y'all? Who went to the sponsor booth? We gotta give him a one point if you went to the sponsor booth, okay? I want to know. Any of y'all? I hope just lie to me and let me know that you was there, okay? Listen, all right. Well, make it to the sponsor booth if you haven't made it to the sponsor booth yet, okay? And someone said I need to look. Oh, Otis, I am relaxed. You gotta know this is relaxed Floyd. Thank you. All right. Well, y'all, make sure you make it to the sponsor booth. Check them out. All right. And then also, we want to give a special thanks to our presenting partners, Virtuous and Giving Tuesday. Okay. Giving Tuesday is the global movement inspiring generosity every day, everywhere. Okay, what did I say before? Everybody. Yeah. That's Giving Tuesday, y'all. And Virtuous is the responsive fundraising platform helping nonprofits build meaningful supporter connections and grow impact with confidence. Their partnerships ensure this event and all is completely free. We're so grateful for their investment in helping you amplify your impact. And y'all, we also want to give it to our good friends at Salesforce. Thank you, Salesforce is the #1 AI CRM, where humans with agents drive customer success together with AI, data, and customer 360 apps. Learn how you can build relationships that drive change with Salesforce for nonprofits. And our good friends at Salesforce, they got a good video for us too. Okay?
The two most powerful words in the world that we know are, what if? And today, thousands of organizations are saying, what if? With the power to act on those words like never before. What if you could empower every employee with a limitless digital workforce? One that listens, learns, and acts all day, every day. Well, this isn't some far-fetched science fiction fantasy anymore. No, it's happening right now with AI from Salesforce. It's called Agentforce. Agentforce turns your vision into reality. Think about it, a future where every student, client, citizen, and customer experiences the best service possible. And your people? Well, now they're free to focus on the work that matters most. And all you have to do is bring your dream. Imagine that. What if?
Y'all, they got Matthew McConaughey. Listen, if that didn't get you hyped, I don't know what will, okay? I do not know what will. Y'all, and for Fundraising AI Summit registrants, Salesforce is offering a free download of their 2025 Nonprofit Trends Report to see how nonprofits are finding new ways to meet rising demand. Get your copy, okay? And maybe you'll see Matthew McConaughey in the download. I don't know. All right, and also, we're going to talk about our spotlight sponsor, our good friends at Avid. Avid isn't another fundraising tool or dashboard. It's the first AI-powered fundraising operating system, okay? Instead of replacing your CRM, email platform, or donation tools, Avid connects them all, transforming scattered data and manual work into one intelligent system for fundraising execution. It gives nonprofit teams a daily clarity and campaign-ready segmentation and personalized engagement at scale without adding headcount or spinning up another spreadsheet, okay? With Avid, fundraisers can launch campaigns in minutes, not weeks, surface their highest impact donor opportunities, automate multi-channel outreach, email ads, and more, and track performance in real time and adjust on the fly. Avid is built by fundraisers, and it replaces a duct tape solutions and disconnected workflows for a system designed for speed, clarity, and real results. Built by fundraisers, powered by real data, designed for how fundraising actually works. And y'all, we got another video. Check it out.
Everything's about to change. Everything's about to change. Everything's about to change.
Oh, child, it's here. Here I am. Listen, I just keep dancing to it. It's evolution. It's evolution. Can y'all get into that beat? Come on, somebody. I don't know who was behind that track, but that one was a banger. Okay. Thank you, Avid. It's evolution. That's what I'm gonna walk away with. Listen, book your intro call today and get 10% off your first year. Clarity and confidence included, and maybe a good beat drop. Come on, somebody. All right. Okay, these y'all know Summit Plus. Okay. I am super excited to share more about our Summit Plus. This summit is a spark, but ideas fade unless you return to them. And that's what AI Sparks Pass comes in. You'll get 12 months of unlimited Spark sessions, fresh topics each month, tools, use cases, skills, and divisive issues. Okay. Short, practical, nonprofit first strategies, perfect for individuals or teams who want to stay sharp year round. And it's just $350 for the year until September 17th. So keep the sparks flying and use code FAI Summit at checkout. All right, y'all. Our last session of the day. I don't even know how to feel. I really don't even know how to feel. And this one is CFRE certified. Okay, so if you want to get some CFRE credits, a certified fundraising executive, make sure you are there. And it's happening on this very stage. Okay, the keynote, end of the day. This is bigger than AI. Come on, somebody. This is bigger than AI. I know that's right. Rebuilding the systems that power generosity from our good friend Woodrow Rosenbaum from Giving Tuesday and Nathan Chappelle from Virtuous. You don't want to miss it. You know how to get there, y'all. You better go up to that top right, toggle down to the schedule, and join on in. Okay, y'all. Don't leave now. We got one more session to go. Okay. I'm so grateful. Thank you for rocking with me and hanging out with me. I'll see you in just a few more minutes. I'm gonna get me a drink of water and then we're gonna do this last session right. Okay, deal? All right, friends. I'll see you soon.